Hello, this is some 15 plus done for fun again. So let's see if we can find a game. Also, while we're waiting for a game, like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. Oh, we got a game. Nice. Let's just go knight f3. This is the ready system. I've been playing like everything that's not e4. Goes d5, yes, let's just play g3. The King's Indian attack setup, c6. Oh, this is kind of annoying to play against. It's just like a solid semi-Slav pawn structure. This move I always find to be kind of strange from the black side, though. Yeah, so now I think I should go d4 to prevent e5. Goes e6, okay. Yeah, so what should I go for here? I mean, should I play c4 and just transpose to the Queen's Gambit? Yeah, maybe, but like, yeah, I don't know. This is maybe an alright transposition, because I find this to be not the most accurate move to play for black with the bishop. I feel like it's better on f5. Knight f6, normal developing move. What should I go for here? Knight c3, queen b3 is a move. Let's just start with bishop f4, I guess. Just making sure his bishop can't get on this diagonal. Maybe there's some ideas of knight into e5 and then playing like f3 and e4. It's going to require some more preparation though, because his bishop can drop back to f5 after f3. And then e4 is no longer playable. But yeah, if we could get all those moves in magically, it would be nice. Knight c3 first to support e4 eventually. Knight e5, f3, e4. Looks like a very decent setup. Just goes bishop e7, okay. If I go knight c3, maybe he'll even take the pawn on c4. But I think I am alright with him doing that anyways. Let's just go knight c3. Just castles, okay. Now, knight e5, I guess. Yeah, just bring the knight into the center. Take, I should probably take back with the bishop. And then f3, e4 is an idea. Could also maybe have played something like knight d2 to try and prepare e4 that way. Maybe that would have been better to try and keep pieces on the board, but oh well. Yeah, just slides his bishop back. So he's saying I can't play e4 because my queen is pinned. So queen c2 or queen b3 would be very logical. I mean, maybe queen b3. I should probably be thinking a bit more before I make these moves, but this is always my issue. I either play too fast or I play too slow. I'm never just playing normal pace. Yeah, but there's about to be a whole lot of pressure barreling down on his queen side here. Goes queen b6. Interesting move. So should I play c5? Or should I just take it? Taking the queen on b6 is usually bad. Yeah, let's just go c5 and see what happens. Takes. These pawn structures are usually alright for white. Oh. Good thing I couldn't mouse slip there. Just play, move the b pawn somehow. That would not be very nice. But for now, this is a very nice and calm position for white. I'm gonna try and double rooks on the a file. And then he will probably need to play a6. Okay, takes here. I think taking back with the bishop is probably best. Don't really see a reason to take back with the pawn. Pulls his knight back, so I need to... I could play bishop d6, but I think that that pawn is a weakness and not a strength, at least in this case. So yeah, we'll just go back to f4, I suppose. So I can always play e4, but I actually think that kind of helps him, because maybe he can somehow get some activity down the d file, Just imagining this knight moving back to f6 and this pawn becoming a weakness with no e-pawn to support it. Backwards pawn, so I think instead I should just continue with the plan, double up on the a file. He plays a6. Maybe I can go for some knight a4, knight b6 at some point if this knight ever moves. Could also just play b4, b5, assuming that the rooks are doubled on the a file in that position and he can't take with the a pawn. Goes f6, wants to play e5. Very, very interesting. So I should probably just play bishop d2, e5, and e3 or something like this. That seems most logical to me, at least. Could also play b4 to support my c5 pawn, but I don't really think that's any good. I feel like bishop d2 is most likely one of the only good moves here. Yeah. But here we see kind of the long-term advantage of this bishop on g2. It's usually the Catalan bishop. I suppose it could be in this position, but more so just a fianchettoed kingside bishop in Queen's Gambit structures. Yeah, so just d3. It seems a bit passive for white, but I like my queenside space advantage and my open a file. All I have to do is make sure he can't ever get an attack on the king side, and this should be a nice and calm position. Goes rook e8. Interesting. Yeah, so I should just continue with my plan of doubling on the a file, right? I don't see why not. Okay, 2. Bring this rook over to a1 and nice life. Knight f8. What a strange move. I guess he just wants to maneuver his knight into the center and put pressure on my d4 weakness. Very annoying. Well, first things first, let me double on the a file. a6. And now I was thinking something like knight a4. Goes knight e6. Yeah, so d4 is weak, but okay, firstly I can start with knight b6 if I want to, and I think I do. Start with bringing the knight into the game. Alright, and now maybe bishop c3 is necessary. I could also alternatively take on e5 now, but I think I need to play b4 first before that happens. So let's just play bishop c3. Yeah, I don't know, I had other moves. Maybe a strong move would have been bishop h3. Hitting his knight on e6. Takes it, okay. So I think I should take back with the pawn. Wants to get his knight in here. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so I'm thinking b4, b5 is probably the plan. Try to somehow activate my rooks down on a7, or activate a rook. Bishop e2 is not a move I saw at all. Just preventing b5. Makes a lot of sense. Bringing this rook over seems logical. Drops the bishop back. There's bishop here. And if he moves his knight, let's say, and I can go bishop f4, which is threatening to go bishop c7 and trap his rook. So win the exchange. But I can also just play b3 immediately here, which opens up an attack on his bishop. He's forced to move it, let's say, to b5, and then I can trade rooks. But I don't really know if that's so helpful for my position. I think I should maybe start with bishop here. I mean, trapping rooks and winning the exchange is always nice, so we'll see if I can accomplish that. But after bishop f4, okay, what does he do to prevent bishop c7? Well, for one thing, he can at the very least move this rook somewhere, I would assume. So let's say he plays rook e6, but then this rook starts having problems with moves like bishop h3. So it's actually very, very difficult. He might just have to give up this knight for my bishop. But what if I play bishop f4 anyways? He goes there. Okay, so first things first, we need to trade rooks pretty much. Let's say we trade rooks. I take his knight. He takes my bishop. So that's equal material. And then I can take on f6. And his bishop can't move anywhere with a crazy threat right now. He can play bishop h3, threatening back rank checkmate with the rook. But then I can play bishop e5 in that position. Okay, let's try that. Take. He needs to take the rook back. There's no move that you can do with check. And then I take his knight. That works, right? I take his knight. He has rook e1 check intermezzo, bishop f1. And he can either, probably he needs to take back. And then he's threatening bishop e2. Which is actually a very problematic position. So I don't think that whole line I gave there works entirely. Okay, at the very least I have bishop e3 here, preventing back rank. I can also play rook a1, which prevents back rank. I could also just not move my bishop. That would prevent back rank problems. But I would really like to take this knight. This knight's kind of strong. But I just can't justify allowing rook e1, bishop f1 forced. Maybe in that position he can even just go bishop e2 anyway, winning my light squared bishop instead of my other one. I mean, yeah. That's a very dangerous position. This is slightly bad. Pretty bad, in fact. I mean, maybe bishop e3 is just necessary. Rook a1 as well. He moves his knight with tempo. There I can go bishop e3. Yeah, tough positions. Could also go rook a3, but then he has rook e2 intermezzo and stuff. Actually, if I play rook a1, does he have rook e2 intermezzo? Very annoying. No, because I take his knight now, takes here, and there's no longer back ranking issues, so I'm just winning a pawn. Yeah, let's just go rook a1. Just a calm move covering the back rank, so now I actually do have threats. So he can move his knight. I can grab this bishop, he can grab my bishop. It's still more complications. Takes here. Okay. So I do have the opportunity to take his knight intermezzo. Do I really want to do that? How strong is this knight? The answer is probably pretty strong. The problem is he's going to get rook e2 in. Alright. So here's my thought process here. What if I just trade everything and pray? I mean, like, his rook is way too active. Way too active. Simply put. Alright, well, we gotta make moves here. Let's trade off the knight. His bishop can't really move with any threats. He can keep the bishop on the board, though. Maybe he would want to do that, then he gets the advantage of the bishop pair. Does not go for it. Rook e2 or rook e4 incoming. Yeah, so what should I go for here? Let's go knight a4. But then he can go rook d2. Yeah, man, that d-pawn is just gone. Unfortunate. Do I have any better options for knight moves here? I mean, knight a4 just seems so passive. Just incredibly passive. And rook d2 is incoming. There's nothing I can do to salvage that. Alright then, what if we start with knight here? Just going for some hopes or prayers that I can get some activity down here. Yeah, goes bishop here. So king f3 makes sense. This is a terribly lost endgame, mind you. Well, at least I'm assuming as much. Let's say rook here, bishop here most likely. Jack is playable. This moves his king up. Maybe cleaner. At least now, though, I have some hope. Some idea of what to do here. Now my knight goes back and covers all of my weaknesses. And all of a sudden I am ever so slightly posing problems here. Just slightly. Rook up, logical. I'm assuming rook here is good. Yeah, he can't move his king on any of these squares because then I can move my knight with check. And my plan is simple, I just want to walk this king. Just to walk the king. Oh my god. Disconnected? What do you mean? Okay, this guy comes back. Yeah, good. Bishop f6. Okay. I'll move my king. Ooh. Hanging pawns is not smart. I didn't have any way to defend it, though. Actually, theoretically I did, but I'll just start dropping other pawns. I mean, at least I'm making it confusing. At the very least. Yeah, so takes it. Check here. I pick up this pawn. Ooh, I do not pick up that pawn. Alright then. Continue walking the king, I suppose. But it's just not gonna help. Yeah, that's definitely gonna be a problem. Okay, the good news is all of my important things are on light squares except for, obviously, my pawns. But okay, if this, then I can move my knight and pin him. At the very least. So that's good. It's actually very difficult to find moves to play in his position. Just moves his rook. Putting it on a defended square. Okay, well I'm gonna continue with my master plan here, I think. And just keep walking the king. King here. It's a good move. Solid move, some might say. Okay, well let's go rook here, I guess. Just need to make some winning move. Simply does not help my position though. Actually that and g4 and I'm just lost. Yeah. Wow. We lose that quick. Yeah, what's he even do about that? That's like a major issue. Rook here, I guess, and sack the exchange. Obviously, this endgame is hopeless, to say the least, but I mean, we gotta try, right? Just to see what happens. Maybe if I can start eating some pawns, I can pose some problems, but this, yeah, I mean, the pawn is just rolling. Don't know what to tell you. Yeah, this was a very interesting game. I mean, I think in these pawn structures, black has a more solid pawn structure, so maybe I should avoid going into endgames. I guess I'll have to keep that in mind for next time, but I mean, just rook up here is clean. What? He must have mouse slipped. Are you fucking kidding me, bro? Wait, am I winning? Bro, this guy just chose the worst possible time he could have to mouse slip. That was unbelievable. His pawns over here can't create a passed pawn. My passed pawn is going to be a huge problem. Like, in these endgames, don't try and eat any more pawns. Just play simple chess and push. I am not accepting the draw. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I might be a terrible person. Okay. But I have mouse slipped before, and when I ask for a draw, they never ever give it to me. Okay, never. Not once. So, I can't be given away a rating like that. Just keep pushing. And I'm on the correct tempo. Yeah, I can go here and stalemate him. So let's calculate here. Pushes. King here. Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly clear. Well, I don't have anything better, right? Worst case scenario, it's a draw. And I saved a completely lost position. There. But I thought this tempo move was worse. Okay, I can go over here and start eating his pawns, but I can also just stalemate him. He goes there. And I can go over here and start eating these pawns. Yeah, I think I probably would rather go over here and start eating these pawns. But there's no way to lose it. Everything is winning. He's no longer stalemated, but if he moves this king, then I make a queen. So, yeah, and I can just take every single pawn that he moves. I mean, just take it. Make a queen. Should I take back with... yeah, I'll just take back with the pawn. I'm queening too fast. Any last tricks? We can pre-move this, actually. But I do feel bad for my opponent. He clearly... well, okay, I assume he mouse slipped it. Rook e3 is not the most logical move ever, but... wow. This is why you never resign, okay? Never resign, folks. Even when you're at my level, 2000, mistakes can still happen, okay? Even if your opponent's not gonna blunder, they can mouse slip. Okay, they can in fact mouse slip. And that causes you to lose the game. That might be the only losing move in this entire position. I think maybe if he takes this, it's just a draw. So he literally played the only move that loses in the game. That is incredibly unlucky. Just mouse slipped the wrong way. Yeah. But if he had played rook here, it's check. He's going to pick up this pawn. What I was thinking was rook here, because A, the computer agrees with me, just because it's simple. You're like kind of preventing me from getting past pawns easily over here, because you can always just take or take en passant or whatever, and you're just going to eat this pawn and push your A pawn. Make a queen, it's that simple. So yeah, if he had found that, that one can't be mouse slipped. That is unbelievable, though. I mean, I guess I'm just very lucky today. Alright, I somehow got more accuracy than he did. That's purely because of the winning endgame. My opponent played really well. All very normal stuff. Knight here's... yeah. So this is all just book, apparently. I should have taken. Yeah, it's probably going to be saying that a lot. It thought queen b3 was better than knight c3. Yeah, it's going to be saying you should take a lot. And he should have taken my knight. Very interesting. c5 was bad. Huh. Should have gone bishop c7 first. But I thought he could just, like, bring a rook over. How is this better? What? He needed to play e5 immediately. And let's say I take with the bishop. Then knight takes, pawn takes. And he takes here. How is that not the exact same thing if I go bishop c7 first? Bishop c7, rook here, go back, e5. Oh. Wow, man, these computer lines are crazy. Okay. Yeah, so obviously neither of us saw that. Bishop d2 was fine. I should have played e4 immediately. That would have held the quality. Very interesting. e5 was bad, apparently. I needed to sack my knight and go for the 3 pawns. Yeah, I was thinking about this later in the game, but only when I think he had some piece that was defending b5. Yeah, he had a rook on d8, and I was like, oh, I can't sacrifice. If only I had seen this earlier. But this takes... is this really that good for white? It says to take here. What happens if you just move the rook? And rook takes... no. Bishop f3? You can't take here because of reasons. Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah. These are just crazy, crazy engine lines. Obviously, I don't see that. I play e3. I also thought that he would play e4 here, but I didn't assume that it was that much better for black. I actually thought that I had like a easier position to play here. Okay, rook there was bad. Again, yeah, just missing the sacrifice over and over and over again. Yeah. All of this was fine. The only move. I should have played f4 here. Knight here, check. King here. What? Sacks the bishop. That is insane. King here, okay. Ooh, and I lose my knight, yeah. I mean, yeah, if I had seen f4, I wouldn't have gone for that. If I had seen the whole losing a knight thing, if you mess up. Bishop f8 was best. Bishop d2 was fine. Bishop f3 was good. Taking was best. Should have gone bishop b3. Yeah, and taking was just bad. I needed to keep the pieces on the board. And here we're just all making 100,000 mistakes, I guess. g6. What? Activating the bishop on the diagonal. Development late into the endgame. Okay. I should have pushed b5. And not even c6? Just b3 waiting? That's insane. Oh. Okay. And he should have gone g6 again. Why? Because apparently I just can't take his bishop. That makes a lot of sense, because it's worse pawn structure. Okay, maybe not worse because of this, but the rook has way more activity for black. I wasn't exactly planning to take the bishop either, but... Okay, and king f3 is just an incredible blunder. I needed to play b5. Should have gone king e3 instead. Yeah. Oh, I could have gone h3 preventing this. And prolonged the game a little more. Rook c4. I thought maybe you would play something like this. Apparently my move's better. g4. Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely better for black, but it's difficult to find a way through here. Maybe you can play like rook a3, a5 at some point. But still, this weakness on c5 is never going to be targeted so long as my knight's there. Okay, that's untrue. But, yeah, I missed this whole idea until right after I had played the move, of course. Sacrifice the exchange. Sack the knight. He's up a full rook, and he mouse slips it. Wow. I mean, what is the title for this video going to be? My last video was called Sometimes You Just Get Lucky. What am I going to refer to this as? This is 2 games in a row now, where I've just won by being lucky. My opponent disconnects or mouse slips. Insane. Yeah, so just push. And I thought that he should go for this instead. Because then at least he's actually getting stalemated. So if I take like every single pawn ever, then bad stuff will happen. Here, 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 take, obviously. And a5. You need to take it here, and you don't take it. You push past. Very nice. Yeah, I did see that if he ever plays b6, then obviously I can just take in queen and ignore every other pawn because he's getting mated. Yeah, but he played h6 instead, and then h5, and now there's no stalemate tricks or anything, so it's just lost mate in 3 here. What I should have played was king over and just queen. Yeah. Okay, but I feel like taking automatically is also logical. Alright. That's about it for this video. Remember, subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. And hopefully, next video I will play better. See ya.